Thanks for joining me for this live. As if you've watched me at all, you've known I've been in the personal growth and professional development space for a number of years. And I've decided, I was looking at what's the one thing I could focus on that would make the biggest impact, make the biggest contribution. And I decided it was money. So thanks for joining me for Money Magic, the truth about money. Now, I'm Money Magic. I titled this session Money Magic, not because I'm a magician. You're not going to see any magic tricks today, but because money is often thought of like magic. It just kind of works. It does these really spectacular, surprising, amazing things. And so we're going to talk about what money really is and what that is all about. So let me start with this. So this idea of money, I have here a drill. Now, of course, this is a power tool, but I set it up as a drill. And the idea here is that, do I need the power tool? Well, I've got some other tools. I've got a hammer as well. If I were to ask you, what do you want to drill? Well, unless you're Tim the Toolman Taylor, you might want to drill just for. But the idea here is, it's a drill. What do I really want? I want a hole. The reason I want this device, this drill, is not for the drill. It's for what it produces, which is a hole. I'm looking to create a hole for whatever purpose that might be. Now, this idea of what's the hammer. So I've got a hammer. I can use the hammer to drive nails. I can use the hammer to attach things. Or I can use the hammer to take a nail out and break things apart. There's a purpose for this tool that is something more than the tool itself. What about this idea of a level? A level. I can use this level to make sure whatever it is I'm putting together is aligned properly. Going back to this idea of magic, I use this idea, you go to a big city. Go into a big city, and I'm always amazed that I can walk into a restaurant and get almost anything I want. It just amazes me. Millions of people in the city, they all get fed, they all get all kinds of things that they want. It's like magic. It's magic. Or you think about flying in an airplane. Now, do you need to know how the airplane works to use an airplane? Of course not. You can just get on the airplane, you get off the airplane at the new destination. I don't know how the airplane works, but an aeronautical engineer might tell you it's thrust and lift and all that, but that doesn't really matter to me. It's magic. I get on one place, I get off another place. It's magic. Or what about this device here? This cell phone, this smartphone, what we call the smartphone. I can punch in a few numbers, and then it will translate my voice to something that I cannot even hear. It will go into the network, and I can be talking to someone on the other side of the globe in seconds. It's magic. It's magic. That's what money is. It's magic. It is a tool that produces a result. So what's the first thing you need to know is, what is it that you want? Like one of these tools, what are you trying to achieve with these tools? So let's talk about specifically about money. Now I have here a Benjamin, a $100 bill, US dollars, in this case, money. So what the heck is money? When we talk about money, it is this tool that helps us get what we want. Remember, the question is, what do you want? The golden question. What do you want? Because you want to use the right tools to get what you want. So where does this concept of money come from? It's a tool, right? It's a tool for what? If we look at what our economy is all about, the foundation of our economy is people doing things for each other. That is, we, you and I and everyone else, produce something of value, either a product or a service, and then we exchange that value. The foundation of our economy are human beings doing things. That's it. It's as simple as that. It doesn't matter what you use as money. The foundation of the economy is simply people doing productive, constructive, value added things for each other. That is the foundation of our economy. Now we measure it in terms like gross domestic product, and we'll say gross domestic product in dollar terms. But what that all means is people did valuable things for each other. That is the foundation of our economy. So, what was the genesis of money? Now, historical economists will argue, and I'm not going to argue, but I just wanted to point this out. They will say the first money was a social obligation that were credits and debits, debt. So that sprang from normal social obligations within family members. And that was the foundation or where money came from. It had this time component to it. So in other words, you do something for me today, then I have an obligation to do something for you tomorrow. And so money was a growth and evolution out of that. But let me give you another option. Let's talk about what other economic historians will say is this barter, how things used to be done as far as exchanging value. So let's say I've got this drill, right? And you have a need for a hole. You want to create a hole. So you want to get control of this drill. So you will give me something of value. I will give you the drill to use to create your hole. So it was a win-win situation. I have something of value. You have something that you want to achieve. You give me something of value. I give you this of value, and then you achieve your objective, whatever it is you want. Well, you can see there's some difficulty in this coincidence of wants, that I've got to have something you want. I value what you have. You value what I have. We've got to come together. So this idea of money sprang as a bright idea. Now, when you think about money, this is interesting. It happens spontaneously in human society, even to this day. We will create something to use as money. So what do economists define as money? What I'm calling this $100 bill, we call money, which in economic terms is a medium of exchange, a unit of account, and a store of value. A medium of exchange. So you have something of value, I have something of value. We're going to use this medium to conduct our exchange. Now, the unit of account is this idea that I already used the term gross domestic product. We will account for things in terms of dollars. But can you define a dollar? What is a dollar? It's a hard one. I don't think you can define a dollar. It's just a unit of account. And the unit of account is a collective agreement on what we value that we will then ascribe a number to and say it's worth so many dollars. So where did this concept come from? So originally, somebody spontaneously, happens all the time in human society, we come up with this medium of exchange. I produce something of value, you produce something of value. We want to exchange that value. We're going to use a medium to execute this exchange. So typically, we use something in our environment, what we know as commodity money. Commodity money. Now, things like seashells, beads, stones, actual stones, pelts, grain, salt, tobacco, metals of all sorts, bronze, copper, silver, gold, have all been used as commodity money over the years in various societies. And well, that is, the people collectively agree. It's a bright idea. It comes out of nothing. We just are going to agree on using something as our medium of exchange to exchange value. The value is what we do productively for each other. That is the foundation of our economy. So we have these commodity monies that have evolved over millennia in different cultures. Over time, as the world has shrunk, has become more globalized, we picked up better and better options and eventually came to precious metals as nearly uniform agreement on what money would be, something of value, that medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. And we then went to what we call the gold standard, which lasted for 100, 150 years or so. And then we went to finally, ultimately, what we call fiat money. Fiat money. Now, what is fiat money? I say I'm holding up a $100 bill. What backs this $100 bill? What's behind the $100 bill? Can I go into a bank and exchange it for something? What backs this? Nothing backs this. Now, if you call the United States Treasury and you say, hey, Secretary of the Treasury, what backs the dollar? The Treasury will tell you the full faith and trust of the United States, full faith and credit of the United States government. Well, what the heck does that mean? Full faith and trust of the United States government. In the United States, the people it's by the people, for the people, of the people. That's the government. What we're talking about is this dollar, this $100 in this case, is a trust note. And what it is, we are trusting in two things. We are trusting in this medium that we call the dollar to function as a medium of exchange, unit of account, and store of value. And we are trusting in each other. So you're trusting me and I'm trusting you. Now, what does that mean in practical terms? You can argue, and there's a good case to be made, that a dollar, when we exchange something, so let's say I were to give you this drill and you give me $100. That's a pretty good price, actually. I mean, I would have gotten the better part of the deal based on the prices of drills these days. But let's just say, in this simple case, I now have this piece of paper. This piece of paper. What good is it to me? Well, it is now a debt obligation. You can argue this, but it's a debt obligation that I am going to apply to someone else for something that I value. So we went from commodity money to fiat money. There is no backing by anything. It's purely a trust instrument. Money is a bright idea. It is a social construct, a social technology, if you will, that facilitates the exchange of goods and services based entirely, solely, only on trust. It's a trust instrument. It's a bright idea. It's a made up. It's nothing. It's pure magic. It is magic. So money is magic. It's magic. Now, you say, well, wait a minute. And so I ask you, is it backed by anything? Let's talk about the properties of money. Is money real? And you could argue, well, that you're holding a $100 bill in your hand. Yes, I'm holding a $100 bill in my hand, but is it real? Well, I could take another piece of paper and I say, okay, I've got another piece of paper here. Which one's more valuable? Well, you're going to say this one is. Why? What if I put lots of numbers on here? What if I put your portrait on this piece of paper? Is this one going to be more valuable? Well, it might be to you, but to people in general, this one will be more valuable. Why? Why is this one more valuable? Because we have collectively agreed that this one's more valuable because it is holding a placeholder for exchanging goods and services, things that we value. It's just not a piece of paper. It represents trust, a very specific kind of trust that we use in economic exchange. But it's not backed by anything other than that idea that we all agree to. So how is money managed? In the United States or worldwide, there is agreement by millions of people in the United States and billions of people worldwide that this has value. So we have collectively agreed that this has value. So how do we manage this? Well, it's managed through a centralized ledger, a ledger. So you can argue, okay, money, you can think of money as commodity money if we're using a physical something to exchange value, but we've moved to fiat money. So it's purely a social agreement. It's a concept that we all agree to. It's managed on a ledger. Now, you could say that it's debt, and we went there already, but let's say it's managed on a ledger. So the ledger is keeping track of who owns what and who owes what to whom. So it's a master ledger, a centralized ledger that maintains this record of who owns what, which owns, we could spend a whole session on what owning means, but let me just suffice. It's another made up idea. It's a collective agreement that we all agree that Johnny owns, whatever it is we want to say Johnny owns. But the collective ledger of money says so-and-so owns this, so-and-so owns that, and so-and-so owes this, so-and-so owes that. It's a collective ledger. So who controls the ledger? Well, the financial system does. The banks, the Fed, overseen in theory by the government, but it's the banks and the financial sector control the ledger that then controls, modifies, maintains this idea of trust. And this is the key thing on the functioning of money, because once trust is gone, the money is worthless. It amounts to nothing, because it is nothing. It's nothing but a bright idea, a useful, bright idea. Now, how much value is in this $100? Well, it is in fact declining because we're continuing to print more money, but it's declining relatively slowly at about 7% a year, minus these last couple of years of excessive inflation. But it's declining. It's on a declining slope, if you will, but we still believe in it. Now, it will be useful until we don't believe in it anymore. But when folks say, well, the collapsing of the financial system will be Armageddon, will be destruction of the earth, the foundation of our economy are human beings doing productive things for each other. Us creating value, products, or providing services for each other. That is the foundation of the economy. This money thing, it's just a bright idea that facilitates the real thing that matters, which is us doing things for each other. That's what money is all about. It's just a facilitator. It is a tool to help us get what we want. That is all. Now, so we talk, what's the value? Why is, say, the US dollar, the world's reserve currency, why is it so valuable? It's because of the network effect. It's because that so many people have reached an agreement, excuse me, so many people agree that it's valuable, that the dollar maintains the status of the most valuable currency in the world. You could argue some of that, but let's just keep it with that. The idea is that the network is what gives this US dollar value. Medium exchange, unit of account, store of value. The US dollar has value because we, the people, say it does. That is all. There is no other reason. Now, we agree that this has value. So it's debt. It's in paper form. You could say, well, that is a tangible form of money. But think about this. There are more than $20 trillion in circulation around the world. 20 trillion. More than 80% of it is in digits. It's in digits. Find your digits. Your digits, they're in account. They're on account somewhere. It is not in paper money or coins. Very few, in relative terms, less than 20% of our dollars are in paper currency and coin. And most of the paper currency that exists is not in the United States. Most of it is in other countries around the world. So think about money. Money is an agreement, a social construct, a social technology that helps facilitate the real economy. The real economy is where people do things for each other that are productive. This is where we create wealth and where we create value, is by doing things for each other. That is the foundation of our economy, not the money. Now, we empower money and we give it a level of power that, if truth be told, it does not deserve, but it's all a mental game anyway. So we enter into what we call the money game. But I don't want you to lose sight. The truth is about money, there is magic about money. And the magic is it facilitates us doing valuable things for each other. And that is magic. But it is not a be-all, end-all. So the thing that you must keep in mind when you're dealing with your money, to understand the truth about money, if you're struggling trying to figure this thing out, realize that it's just a bright idea. That's all it is. It's a bright idea that facilitates the exchange of really productive value. And the productive value is found in the things that we do for each other. Now, just like the drill, the purpose of the drill is for the hole, and the purpose of the hammer is to attach things or break things apart, or the level is to align things or make sure they are level. You want the right tool for the job. Now, the dollar is the Swiss Army knife of tools. The Swiss Army knife of tools, because it has such wide acceptance, and so many people have attributed value to it, because we are in agreement. That's it. We are in agreement that money has value. Because we agree that it does is what makes it valuable. Once we lose the trust, once we stop trusting in either this medium of exchange or in each other, then this does not matter anymore. we will figure out something else to use as money. What really matters is that we will continue, hopefully, to do productive things for each other. The financial system is just overlays the real economy. The key is understanding what you want and doing productive, value-added things. And that is how you get, ultimately, to real wealth, satisfaction, and growth. It is the understanding that the magic of money is just a bright idea. It's a social agreement. That's all. But we have so much more than that. And you just have to find the right tool to ultimately get what you want. So, thanks for taking a few minutes out of your busy schedule to listen to me talk about money. Hopefully this was worthwhile. If you found this worthwhile, by all means, share this video. And I'd like to come on and talk about some other things. And I had a few ideas. I wrote some notes here. So first, thank you for coming. But here are some topics that let me know, put some comments in whether you think this is worthwhile. The money game, or money games, if truth be told. We'd like to talk about the money game. That would be one topic. Money myths. So myths about money. Would you like to talk about that subject? Or what I call bear traps and bull riding. And this is this idea of debt. A bear trap is a debt trap. And that is how folks are manipulated through this use of money. So there's so much more to talk about, or an idea about something related to money that you would like me to bring up as a topic for one of these future lives. So again, thanks for joining me. I hope you got something out of this. By all means, put a comment, share, like, send this around, and let's get together sometime soon.